here. I think it can be done in some departments. I think it does not give as much latitude as one would believe, because you're going to start with several fixed costs. So I'm just going to take an example. We can make every department do a zero-based budget, which, like I said, is not a bad idea. Probably about 60 to 70% of their costs are already fixed costs, so you've got that 40% to work with. So I do believe that it's a decent exercise. Now, am I saying that it's easy to institute in every department? I would tell you it's probably not easy to institute in every department, but I think any opportunity that you get to look at a budget process that gives you the most current numbers and the numbers that are the most accurate is what we're all here for.
Kelly, you want to speak to that?
I think it can be a valuable exercise. As the controller sent to us, I think it was probably a year ago or more when this came up. Zero-based budget means different things to different people, so you have to be careful when you say zero-based budget. It can mean from justifying every paperclip up to big chunks of services to everything in between. It's definitely worth looking at, but I think we all need to be.
Let me just say, I thank both of you guys for your response. Controller Green, I like the way you presented that when you mentioned about starting with fixed costs. And the reason I asked that question, we were talking about a $48 million surplus. I get, Mayor, one question. Do we use, I heard your explanation, which I was glad to hear in terms of how it would be spent, but will a percentage go to the rainy day fund? Is the first question. And the second question, when I was looking at, and this back to Controller Green, looking at this 2015 existing budget surplus, and I'm looking at this first surplus category, and I'm going to take that as fixed expenditures on a zero-based budget approach, and this other one is the surplus, which makes up $48.6 million. If we have that much money in reserve, I could see the advantage of starting off with a zero-based, minusing the fixed expenditures, and we will see the excess revenue. Now, the mayor made reference to a police academy. I think that's important to address police shortage, where we can get 2 police officers in a car, hopefully sooner than later, as well as fire equipment. But Mayor, my question again, a percentage of the surplus, do we set it in the rainy day account?
And we have a policy on the rainy day account, and the rainy day account is at the instructed level.
Okay.
And we were going to take the first tranche of excess revenue, or what we're taking with the BP settlement and topping off the general government. Council spent $5.5 million out of general government. We're repaying that,
Okay.
and the rest is going to go to the fund balance.
Thank you.
The challenge with zero-based budgeting, Councilmember Boykins, is that, as the controller said, fire department, more than 80% of the costs, maybe 85% of the cost of the fire department are personnel. So you're nibbling around the edges. Now you can part of what a core service presentation is supposed to be is discussing what those personnel do, but unless you're going to choose, it depends on what you mean by zero-based budgeting. You're going to say, well, we're not going to pick up trash, or we're not going to provide fire service, or we have fixed personnel costs, so we're going to go from that personnel cost up and see where we can save money. We do that actually each year internally. We don't say something absurd like we're not going to pick up trash. We say, in order to provide the level of service that we want to provide, what is it going to take? We call that zero-based budgeting. Other people do not call it that. Councilmember Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Those nibbles around the edge, those are millions of dollars. And we do accept and build it to our budget of municipal court revenue projections. I'm a supporter of Judge Harlow. I think she's doing the job. At the same time, I think when a councilman has a question about $3 million, the decrease in revenue, I think that warrants a response, because we keep moving down this particular trail, cycle after cycle. So I think we ought to take a look at, are the projections right that we keep for often for municipal courts, or not? Maybe turn those projections, reduce those projections. Controller Green, let me draw on your experience, if I may, please. I know that you have MBA financial background as an attorney. You have been an at-large council member. You are the controller today. So you have a perspective of the city that many of us do not have from that standpoint. Let me ask you, in your professional opinion, how has the city gotten to the point where we are today, where serious issues relating to infrastructure, pension, public safety, what has happened? Is the system just woefully broken? Is our budget workshops just cosmetic shows, or do we not get the right information? What, in your view, has brought Houston to the point where we are today with all the revenue coming in? We're still saying more money, more money, more money. I want to hear your view on that, please.
I think part of it is all of us are elected to provide services. Nobody runs on telling the person who you're going to vote, who you're asking for their vote, that vote for me and I'll make sure we cut your services. I'll make sure I fill less potholes. I'll make sure I cut library hours. We all are elected by what we want to deliver to our constituents. Whether we get here around the table and say cut, 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 that's not why we were elected. I think part of it is we have promised many things and people and citizens deserve it. At the end of the day, certain things occur after the promise is made that you can't deliver everything that you've promised. So let's talk about pensions. Obviously, there were some decisions made based on actuarial reports that put us in the situation that we are now. You know, we could all sit around the table, and I know this is an election year, we can point to several different people and say, you voted on that issue, but you voted on what was presented before you, I think. And so at the end of the day, we have to make up for that. We have situations as it relates to costs going up. The public needs to know, and we need to be the best advocates and let the public know that when gasoline prices went up, we had to pay more for gas. We pay more for paper. We pay more that everybody else pays for. So when we talk about what the state of the city is in, I think it's like anybody else's situation. We are here to deliver service, and we are not nimble. And that's the one thing I think people need to understand. We're not corporate America. We cannot raise the price of our Cadillac tomorrow to get more money. We are not nimble as a corporation. So at the end of the day, I think that I won't point to any particular person, because if we go through many years of what has happened to the city, we could all pick out 10 different department directors, we could pick out 5 different mayors, we could do it all. But at the end of the day, we provide service. The cost of those services have gone up. The cost of employees has gone up. And so we are affected by all of that. But the one thing that we don't have, that corporate America has, or anybody, or many other people have, is that we have a finite sum of all of this money that we're getting. It's still finite, and it's still not enough to do what we had promised to do for the citizens of Houston.
Thank you. I appreciate your commentary, and maybe it's promises part of that we should work on, because from administration to administration, there are different promises. But we exist to deliver core services, and we don't know what those are. There are different opinions of that. Maybe it's time to try to codify what core services are, so it doesn't matter which administration it is, the business and the reason we exist, we fund those, as a priority item. And we don't know what the staffing level should be throughout the city of Houston. Each department director gives his or her best shot. And no one says that I need fewer personnel. It's always I need more personnel, more personnel. So maybe we should take a look at it from that standpoint. And I want to go on the record of saying that as well as keeping the police cadet classed up, I think we should have a discussion before decisions made just to spend those dollars on those two things. We still wait on the officer residency incentive program.